Welcome to Michael's Tech Talk. The observant among you might realise that I'm not Michael. I'm Wayne of Twockham Media, and I'm here today to talk about PSVR2, recently launched by Sony. And we are going to give it a bit of a review and early impressions and see what we think of it. Let's get to it. Right, so just to give you a bit of context, I am a big fan of the old PSVR1. I got it pretty close to launch, and I have to admit, I haven't played it a whole lot. I've played through about maybe half a dozen games on it. Thought it was a great piece of kit, but it did age really, really badly. The resolution on it is pretty low. You've got these really rubbish controllers that came with it that weren't even designed for PSVR. They were designed for the PlayStation 3 actually. And it always felt like it was just sort of cobbled together. Not the best bit of kit, if you ask me. So the PSVR 2 is out now. And personally speaking, I think it's a much better bit of kit. It feels like an entirely rounded package where everything is designed to work together. And that includes the headset, the controllers, and the actual console itself. So let's talk about what we like about it and what we don't like about it. First things first, the biggest and the best improvement on PSVR 2 is without a doubt the resolution. This thing has 1080p per eye, whereas the PlayStation 2 has a 4K output, which translates as 2K per eye. It is significantly better, and you will notice as soon as you put the headset on. I love this piece of kit whenever I was playing it, but I was just always very, very aware of how pixelated the graphics were, how blocky a lot of things were, and it just sometimes it kind of took the shine off some really good experiences. This, on the other hand, is fantastic. I know that some people have had a little bit of difficulty wearing the headset quite right, getting it calibrated just right to get those sharp pictures. But when you do, I promise you will be impressed by this if you get to play it. Really good. Resolution, spot on. One of the key reasons if you're thinking of upgrading from PSVR to PSVR2, resolution, brilliant. One of the next improvements that they've made from PSVR up to PSVR2 is the field of view. Now this has a 100-degree field of view, which if you're wearing the headset, you do get that sort of goggly effect. It feels like you're wearing something. Whenever you first put the headset on, you will be aware of that black plastic around your peripheral vision. This is 110 degrees, which is only 10 degrees more, and it is one of the areas of the PSVR 2 headset that I'm a little disappointed with. I was kind of hoping for it to be better. It is an improvement, but you will still put the headset on, and at the start of playing a game, you will get that goggle effect. You'll be aware of the plastic around your eyes. Once you get into the game though, and I would say this for both headsets, once you start playing, you get immersed in the game, you start enjoying what you're playing, you do kind of forget about it. So it's not a deal breaker, but I do look forward to the days. I don't know when it'll be or what manufacturer will do it, but I'm sure eventually we will get to the point where our entire peripheral vision will be taken up by the output of the headset. But right now, we're not quite there. If you've had PSVR 1, you will remember the absolute nightmare in setting this thing up. The setup and connectivity of it was not fun. It came with a separate little breakout box that had to be connected to not only your TV, but the console itself. Then the headset went into that. There was an extra USB cable. If you're outputting HDR to your TV, it no longer worked through the breakout box. Again, it was just another problem that came from the console that this was designed for was not designed for PSVR. It was a hodgepodge of technology. It worked, but there was issues. This, on the other hand, I swear was an absolute joy to set up. It's one cable into your PSVR. There's no camera like this is required. It's outside tracking rather than inside tracking. In other words, it scans your room, picks out little points, and it uses those to track the movement. It's fantastic. It is absolutely fantastic, and it just makes the setup a joy rather than the pain that came with this. So that is a massive tick in the box as far as I'm concerned. Big thumbs up for Sony getting that right, because it's always That's your first impression. Whenever you come home, you configure it, you set it up. Brilliant. Without continuing to bash on this too much, which I am going to do, I hated these. I hated these with a passion. They just were not designed for VR. I think these came off the back of the big push that Nintendo Wii had whenever they introduced motion controls to video games, and Sony came out with their response, which was this. Initially designed for the PlayStation 3, as I say, and then kind of wedged into that PSVR solution. They just aren't great. And also you feel like an idiot holding them, let's be honest. These have been replaced with these controllers. Now, I mean, just look at them. Just look at the way your hand sits in them. That is a million times better than the wands, or, well, I have another name for them, but we'll not get into that. There's haptic controls in the figures, which means that the developers of the games can program how much pressure it takes to push these controllers in. Each button, as in the X, the square, the triangle, and the circle, and these little ones around the side, you don't even have to press them. They know when your fingers are on them, and the games react accordingly. These are incredible. These are game changers. This, plus the upgraded resolution, are the two main reasons, in my opinion, to get a PSVR2. I'm so happy with these. You can buy a little dock for them as well. The dock I'm not so fussed on. They come with little connectors here, and then you drop them in, but there's no magnetics. They just sit on. It's not great. Sometimes they're not quite sitting right, and there's a little light that shows you where they're light up to see if it's charging or not. I've seen better. But again, not a deal breaker. The controllers themselves, fantastic. So happy with them. The third big thing that I absolutely love about PSVR, and let me describe the problem initially first. Whenever I used to play this, I was quite often put off playing it because it's just a pain to get from the position of not playing the game to playing the game. And I'll tell you what I mean by that. You put this headset on, the next thing you've got to do is lift up your controllers. How are you going to lift up your controllers when you've got a headset on and you can't see? So you always had to set your controller somewhere very, very specifically, put the headset on, then try to lift them up without knocking over a cup of coffee or whatever. It was just a pain, and quite often, whenever I wanted to play PSVR, I'd sit down in front of the TV and I'd go, you know what, I'm just going to stick on Call of Duty or something else instead, because I can't be bothered with the fernicityness of this. This, on the other hand, these little cameras that you see at the front, there's 4 of them. You can see out through those cameras when you've got the headset on. So perfectly, all you have to do is put the headset on, hit one little button, and then you can see around your room. Now it's the vision that it shows is kind of weird. It's black and white, it's quite grainy, because I don't think these cameras are designed for vision, they're designed for motion tracking. But it's enough so that you can turn around, pick up your controllers, no matter where they are, because you can see them, not step on your cat, not knock drinks over. It's brilliant. Again, it just makes it, do I want to play PSVR or do I want to play a standard flat screen TV game? Well, it's so much less hassle to put this on and get ready to play a game than it is this. So to me, that is reason number 3 why this is just vastly better than this. So let's talk about the games, because all the tech by itself is kind of useless if we don't have games to play. The big one that I've got is Horizon Call of the Mountain. It shipped with it. I got the bundle that came with that game. I've been playing it. Is it good? It's damn good. It is really, really good. One of the best VR experiences I've played. A lot of people have complained that it's bulked up with too much climbing. But to me, that's almost what it is. It's like a climbing simulator with a little bit of combat in between. It's a lot of fun. It has you moving around your living room. You'll take the headset off and not even realize what direction you should be standing in because you've been turning around and looking around you. It's got good acting. It's got incredible graphics. It's all based around mountains, so there's these constant scenic views. The enemies in it are huge, big, sort of like dinosaur / robot things, and they're just fascinating whenever they get up close. Great game. I've also played the demo for Resident Evil Village. That is a game that I had played originally on the Xbox. So they've transitioned, they've taken a game that was designed for a flat panel TV, and they've put it into PSVR. Has it worked 100%? I would say no. There's a couple of little things that just don't feel quite right to me. For instance, there's a bit where the character you play as is lying on the ground. So as you're looking out, you're looking at his head level because he's lying down, but you're standing up, and it just feels weird. It feels like you're buried. It actually made me burst out laughing when I was playing it. But other than that, the combat they've tweaked and they've made it a lot of fun. Again, the controls just make it so much better than having the old ones. Resident Evil Village, highly recommend it. I will definitely pick up the full game at some stage when I've finished Call of the Mountain. And then the last game that I've tried so far was Thumper, and I have to confess, that game was a little glitchy for me. The head tracking seemed to have problems. It jumped back and forward and my position kept changing, so I would hold off on buying Thumper until maybe you've read that that's been fixed. So all in all, would I recommend PSVR2? I would say absolutely yes. Now don't get me wrong, there's a few little things that you still have to forgive with VR. I find the motion tracking is, 98% there. The controllers sometimes can get a little bit stuck in positions and they don't quite do what your hands are doing. But it's still a great experience if you can overlook some of the slight flaws of VR technology, and I think those flaws are across the board on all headsets and controllers. You will have a fantastic experience. If you had any fun at all with this, you'll have a lot of fun with this. As I say, the barrier to get playing is lower. Almost every aspect of it is better, and I would highly recommend it. The price point can be a little tricky. Now it's £530 for the whole kit, and you need to have a PlayStation 5 as well. But I would say it's worth it. I would definitely say it's worth it, and I would highly recommend it. Get rid of this, throw it in the bin, get yourself a PSVR2. It's a hell of a lot of fun. So that's my review and impressions of PSVR2. If you want more gaming content on the channel, let Michael know. Get busy on those comments below. Also, tell us what headsets you have tried. Have you tried the Meta Quest? Have you tried the Pico? Have you tried any of the PSVR headsets? Get busy in the comments. Get a wee bit of conversation going there. Let us know what you've tried. If you haven't liked the video already, like the video. If you haven't subscribed, do that as well. And we'll see you soon back on Michael's Tech Talk.